Hello and welcome back to another special episode here on The Brompton Guy. Today we're at the magnificent Margam Park where we're about to take on the Dragon Ride. The Dragon Ride is known to be one of the hardest sportives in the UK, and it's pretty obvious why. It goes through all the winding roads of the Brecon Beacons and has an insane amount of ascent no matter what course you do, from the 100k to the 300k. Today I'll be doing the Macmillan 100s, and of course we'll be supporting Macmillan Cancer Support for this. If you've never ridden a charity sportive, this is certainly one of the ones to do. Macmillan go above and beyond to show you their appreciation for the donations you've put into this. They offer an amazing post-ride spread, amazing kudos as you're going through the ride, and a complimentary post-ride massage. This is truly an event to make sure you do a charity one-off. Now, I'm pretty apprehensive. The Brompton's been dismantled and it's been rebuilt, and this is its first major ride. It's not done any serious miles, so anything could happen on it, so fingers crossed we have no mechanicals and everything goes to plan. Now, I think it's probably time for me to get out my common wear, into my race wear, get to the start line, and let's see, can the Brompton conquer the Dragon? Let's find out. Let's go.
He's the Brompton Guy! So it's 8:51 at the start line now of the Dragon. We'll see how it goes. I'm not apprehensive at all. I'm more curious on what my cruises will be. Have a little niggling sound on the bike, but other than that, got here safely. And yeah, just waiting. It's as always a busy turnout. The temperature is okay. It's very humid feeling at the moment, but it's overcast, so the sunshine is okay. Here we go. And we're off. Hello everyone, it's Dave here, the Brompton Guy, and here we are with the Dragon Ride 2023.
Brompton, that's amazing. We'll see. Well, I put a smaller ring on it for just the Rhigos, but it's got a 6-speed, so biggest cogs, 14T at the back. So I've done a couple of test cycles. I don't think the hills will be too bad, but cheers, man.
So the ride got off to a pretty successful start, but then, no joke, within 3 to 4 minutes in, this happened.
Oh, I don't know what that squeak is. Is it something from... Well, I've developed an early squeak.
So yeah, not so great. The noise was incredibly irritable, and it was the first time I'd honestly ever heard this. It completely caught me off guard. I really didn't know what it was in the moment, but as the ride progressed, I did confirm that it was the rear suspension block. And I think it might have actually just been a little bit over tightened or misaligned, because as I was riding and going over certain obstacles, the noise would come in and out. So it does come in and out through the video, but there is a video following actually how we address the noise on it.
I am taking on the Dragon Ride in South Wales. Starting place in a town called Port Talbot. It's the hardest sportive in the UK. I haven't seen anyone else in a Brompton yet, I don't know why. But I have heard a couple of people say, oh, well done mate, go for it. I've no idea how hard it's going to be. I need to conserve my juice, I don't know what's going to come up. I have chose the safety of the 100k. For multiple reasons, in fairness. I don't know how well this bike's going to climb. This is almost like the bike's first major ride. I did sign up again to actually do it on my road bike and go for it again, go for the big distance and see if I could actually do it, because I done it last year on the Grand Fondo and it broke me. I was broken. The squeak has lately dissipated, but I don't think anything more annoying than mechanical sounds of my bike. When you're doing like a challenge at this, and I had very limited time to put all this together, I've not had much experience in Brompton, it was very stressful. And for this to be its major test ride, also stressful.
So once you actually leave the start line and you get out, you're going to pretty much open roads throughout Port Talbot. You get to cycle past all the steelworks, all fairly flat, but the one disadvantage you have at the start is it's incredibly windy. I didn't actually highlight any of this content, but the headwinds at the start were actually pretty intense, and it's probably what was allowing me to catch people because I was on the flatter land. But so far, we've had a good start, and let's see where this goes.
Ah, thanks man, thanks. We love the Brompton. Tell you man, Brompton's a crowd pleaser, as I thought it would be, eh? Oh, caught the pack. I don't know how I've caught the pack, I really don't think I've honestly been setting a maximum gear because I think this Brompton's top speed with the gear ratios I have, pedalling constantly is around 27k. I can't really actually pedal anything over 30. Once I go 30, that's me pedalled my ratios out.
And we hit the first climb of it, Sardis Hill, which goes to a whopping 19%. Now this is an absolute stinger of a hill and definitely catches people off guard considering it's the first thing that we actually climb. I do remember it last year and it was really stiff, but I had the energy to get me up it pretty quickly. And to my surprise, even on this attempt, I actually overtook way more people than I could possibly have expected to on this section. I loved watching this clip go by. The guy on my right is just giving me the absolute stink eye, being like, what is actually happening here?
I don't really care for this.
And yeah, the lady sums it up super well. Everyone is thinking the exact same, but it is almost over.
Oh yeah.
As I did mention at the start, I do get a lot of compliments throughout this video. It's just actually pretty difficult to figure out how to respond to the individual.
Right, what are we in? We are 23 kilometres in, average speed of 24.8, averaging 159 watts. Not too shabby. Still having the constant problem of the seat post dropping.
Yeah, I just want to give a little more context to this. So I've gave the Brompton a little test cycle before this, and one of the things I noticed was the seat post would constantly drop. I think it's because it was fully extended and it was just wanting to slightly go down with the leverage on it. Ever since I've replaced it with the telescopic seat post, it's been fine. But on this ride, it was an absolute nightmare because it constantly slipped down. So while I'm grinding out the climbs, my body position is off and I'm just giving excess pressure onto my knees. But yeah, just wanted to expand on that slightly there.
It's just...
That's some skills.
well, I've not finished yet. I think actually what's been pleasant is how complimentary some of the riders have been. I just don't feel like your average Joe wants to come out and ride a hilly Sportive on a Brompton. I think it's also important to notice that I am honestly just your average cyclist. I cycle to work, definitely do a couple of fun rides, but I don't do anything like specific. I would never say I'm a competitive cyclist anywhere near that. This ride to me, especially on that hill there, is that Bromptons can definitely climb, and I would actually say they're really good at climbing because of how low the frame is. The biggest problem is just they're not stiff.
To carry on from that there, I would 100% agree with that statement. The biggest downfall to the Brompton here was the rear suspension block. It was the standard block that came with it and had been extremely worn out. This then led me on to look at what I could do to fix this issue. I have went on to make a different video about me swapping out the suspension block for a performance firm suspension block. So yeah, you can double check that, but by all means, if you're doing something hilly, get that firm suspension block fitted.
This is what Brompton should be about, fun, you know. There is obviously that part where Brompton's a city bike. You know, people take them as tourists, and I'm sure I'll do a lot of stuff that does involve a lot of miles on them. to put this old timer through 100k today probably doesn't understand what's going to be what's happening to it.
So, yeah, climb 2, the Rhigos, the 500 metre climb, honestly caught me completely off guard. When I was looking down at the Garmin, I was like, there's absolutely no way I'm already at the climb, but believe it or not, it started and I was starting to get a good bit of buzz coming on behind me here.
Oh, bloody hell, well done.
Oh, we'll see at the top.
Wow, you're my hero.
Oh. I thought it would be fun.
So yeah, the 500 metre climb up the Rhigos, it is an absolute classic. I honestly feel it's like the hardest route, but I don't know if that's because I've actually done this multiple times on my normal bike, so I kind of knew what to expect from this one. I do feel on the day, it was such a muggy day and I was sweating absolute buckets. I don't mean just like a light looking coloured sweat. Every single drop was like super yellow and it was just honestly falling down like it was raining.
Oh, I'm obviously not at the top of the mountain, so... Oh, and this is the biggie. 5.6k. Actually...
You have 20 gears on that?
It is a 6-speed. I had to put a 42 in the front though to make it actually plausible. Oh, thanks, man. Definitely a harder push this section. I think this is a nice steep bit. And easies, I hope. Aye, piss and sweat, man. Piss and sweat. Out the water, we get close. So optimistic. Sweat. It's like sheer yellow.
So this is the point where I remember starting to hurt pretty bad. My water had ran out about 3 or 4 Ks before this. I was just consistently sweating. There was no wind at all and everything was just so muggy. I was actually sweating so much like my eyes were starting to sting at this point. And for some reason my mind had in it from the start that the feed station was at the top of the mountain. Now, I don't know what made me think this because I knew it was in the same location as last year, and that wasn't until we descended down into Tree Herbert. But when I got to the top, which has just come up at this point, it just dawned on me, and I was like, I'm going to have to descend down. I've still not got any water, and I'm in a pretty bad state. I feel I need to get some hydration, so I powered on. But what you're seeing here is me in a pretty tired state and just dying to get to this feed station.
Claim's complete. We done it, we done it.
So like with any major climb up a mountain, it is always rewarded with what has to be some of the best descents ever. You enjoy every moment of this because the views are spectacular. The roads are in good condition, it's got a good couple of bends in it, it's smooth tarmac, and it's just an absolute amazing reward to have. I couldn't not keep this in, so here's just a time lapse of the descent here.
I think I see it. I see a red sign.
Finally at the feed station. It felt amazing to be there and definitely came a little later than I was potentially hoping. When I was there, I obviously made the absolute most to hydrate, refuel, get my bike looked over to see if I could figure out what the squeaking was at this time. But what hadn't dawned on me was I was still tired, but I was about to tackle a climb that was even harder than I was ever going to expect.
Ah, thanks, mate.
And yes, it's here. Climb 3, the Bwlch. 500 metres again, over 4.4 kilometres. My mind had definitely pushed out how difficult this climb was last year.
Smoked me last year, this. Smoked me. That's good too. When I did this last year, this mountain kicked my ass, man. I wasn't expecting it, it's just brutal.
Are we doing this?
Yeah. Oh, it's tough. Steep.
I'm slowly progressing up the mountain, but as I'm doing it, all it did was give me major flashbacks of just how difficult a mountain this is to do. Now, I do reference in the video a lot about how much harder than the Rhigos it is, but I think my problem of comparison to that is the fact that I've always done this route after doing the 500 metres of the Rhigos. So I do still maintain the Bwlch is a harder climb because it is significantly steeper areas, but I've never done it in isolation first.
Oh, Jesus.
Don't ask.
I want to see you coming down on it.
Believe it or not, it actually does really well in descents. Strange that, isn't it? But last year, no one really said a word to me. Nice. Hey, cheers.
So I was starting to make some really good progress through the climb. I was getting an amazing pace, taking over all the cars, but it gave me that little bit of sometimes where you get the driver's frustration of obviously they were slowing down, and then it got to a point where I lost my really good momentum because I couldn't get past.
Oh, this is terrible. The steep section will revolt soon. Less than 100 metres left. Less than 2k to climb. And then I can officially say with all levels of certainty that a Brompton can climb. Right, ride out the pain, man. Ride out the pain. You want to switch places? Oh, cruising it now. Cruising now. Oh, some wind.
Yeah, it is true. I'm getting fatigued. I'm getting tired. I'm getting to that point where my mind is like, I just want to get off this bike. But most importantly, I am now approaching the top of the Bwlch, which is the third and last climb of this. And it was an amazing feeling to know that starting it, I had so much ambiguity around what was actually going to happen. I mean, I'd completely stripped and rebuilt this bike just for this event. Nothing mechanically happened, and the specs I put on it actually got me up 2 serious mountain climbs. It felt amazing to be there, and it was just now the case of ticking down to wait for my Garmin to tell me that I'd completed the climb.
1 metre of ascent left. You see a downhill, a gradual downhill, very small and back up, but I can conclude the Brompton can climb. Yes, indeed. Do you know what? I think last year I was so deflated at this bit and so broken, I don't think I remember it. But wow. Look at that. Caution, descent and sharp bend.
Oh, the descent, and what a descent it is. This is truly a must-do descent if you live in the South Wales area. It is just spectacular, and the views just go on for absolute days. So it's definitely worth the slog up if you get this as a reward.
Right, I'm back. Battery saving Dave here. Just coming with some reflections. I'm now 91k in. Almost there. It went well, man. I've enjoyed it. Definitely lost speed on the descent. Well, I mean, proper road bikes were taking over me, but it's been exciting. It's been fun letting people smile and knowing myself that I could do it. Because you know what, I mean, without any lie, there's a lot of apprehension going into this. A lot of apprehension. Because I've never took this up a proper hill before. Just doing these last couple of Ks is just, it's incredible. It's incredible. Let's go to some of the stats. I'm riding 3 hours and 56 minutes. So I'm not going to make the 4-hour cut, which I didn't actually expect to. Average speed of 23.5, better than I was hoping. Average power 165. My distance now climbing up to 93 k's. This is it. Final turn. Yay! Thank you.
10 where you can donate. Harold McMillan helped people living with cancer in Wales and beyond.
One bed.
Make sure you pick up your special edition medal. Make sure you pick up your can of oil.
Thank you. Go for it. Thank you so much. We done it. We conquered the dragon, and it was pretty hard work. It's a ride that I'll remember for a long time, and I'm just so chuffed to bits that the Brompton managed to do every single climb that was thrown at it, and I'm just blown away by the amount of support that people past were showing me. It caught me off guard. I'd done it last year and no one said a word, and the amount of people giving me kudos for what I was doing was just mind-blowing. I didn't really know what to say back to them. It was absolutely phenomenal. A lot of people are saying that they want to support what I'm doing, which is great. I'll definitely be back next year supporting the same cause, Macmillan. I would love and think I need to get weight from the bike taken off because it was so heavy. It was pretty difficult to ride, so I think my aim for next year will be to see if there's any possible way to shave weight off, or the best possible outcome, do it on the Brompton Titanium, which is a super light bike, but I'm going to need some major support from people watching this to help me finance that project, because it's a whopping £5,000, so any support you can do. There is a QR code here. It's from my Buy Me a Cuppa page. Even if you can donate anything as little as £1, it will go a long way to helping me continue to do these events and make them harder and harder and harder. I'm definitely ready for my bed. I did enjoy the post-ride snacks. I got some post-ride pizza. There was a phenomenal band on this year. Like, it was an absolutely amazing sort of, compared to my last post-ride to this one, it was really good. So I'd recommend if you're coming here, keep your headset on. You're going to get a dynamite handmade fresh pizza at the end, and that will probably give you that little bit of extra juice to take you over. But for me, I'm done. Ready for bed. I'm lucky enough to have a lift home today. So yeah, thanks for watching it. Please feel free, if you were on this ride, leave some comments, let me know what your thoughts were of the route and the weather conditions. And yeah, thank you so much for all the support you've given me, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for sticking to the end. If you learned something new, I've got some more amazing dedicated Brompton content up here. And if you liked what you've seen and you want to help support the channel, you can scan the QR code down here. This will take you to my Buy Me a Cuppa page. This page has been set up to let you, the audience, help donate money to me so that I can continue to do some amazing projects. At the moment, I'm working incredibly hard to raise the funds for a Brompton T line because some of the upcoming projects I want to do in the pipeline require this specific bike. Don't want to give too many reasons why yet, but any help you can give will go such a long way, and thank you if you can donate just a little to the channel. Hope you've enjoyed it. Until the next one, goodbye.